open to us now. We have very serious, honorable senators, we have very serious message. We have a very heavy agenda in front of us. Senator Mungatana, kindly yield. Senator Mungatana, kindly take your seat. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable senators, I have another message to pass. I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 48, I received the following message from the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly regarding the passage by the County Assembly of a motion pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Government Act for the removal from office by way of impeachment of Honorable KAWIRA Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. The message was transmitted to the Senate via letter signed by the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly, reference number CAM/Res/Volume V/2, dated 15th December 2022, and received in my office on the same day. Pursuant to the Standing Order 48.1 of the Senate, I shall now report the message to the Senate. This is to inform you that on Wednesday, the 14th day of December 2022, during the afternoon sitting of the County Assembly of Meru, via the resolution of the Assembly and pursuant to the provisions of Article 181 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, Section 33 of the County Government Act, 2012, as read together with the provisions of Standing Order number 65 of the County Assembly of Meru, Standing Orders approved the motion to remove from office the Governor of Meru County by way of impeachment. The purpose of this letter is to therefore inform you of the aforementioned resolution and to forward the same to your esteemed office in line with the provisions of Section 33(2) of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order number 65(6) of the County Assembly of Meru Standing Orders for your further action. Attached herewith, please find a schedule containing the bundle of documents, records containing evidence adduced, notes and records of proceedings before the County Assembly for your reference and records. Honorable Senators, as stated in the letter from the Speaker of the County Assembly of Meru, the following documents were forwarded to the Senate, being the record of proceedings of the County Assembly and the evidence adduced in support of the impeachment motion. Honorable Senator, kindly welcome.
Oh, you guys a lot arbitrary. And if I'm not wrong, one was this the last thing.
Zaituni Mombasa because there's a club called Zaituni Mombasa. For those of us who are like to go to Mombasa.
And for those of you who have not gone to Mombasa, you have
Senator Buru, our prayers were with you, and we thank God you're back. As stated in the letter from the Speaker of the County Assembly of Meru, the following documents were forwarded to the Senate, being the record of proceedings of the County Assembly and the evidence adduced in support of the impeachment motion. 1. Approved notice of motion for the proposed removal from office of the Governor dated 5th December 2022. 2. Order papers for the County Assembly sittings held on Tuesday 6th December and Wednesday 14th December 2022 respectively. 3. Certified Hansard reports of the Assembly sittings held on Tuesday 6th December and Wednesday 14th December 2022. 4. Copy of certified signatures of County Assembly members in support of the impeachment motion against the Governor of Meru County dated 13th December 2022. 5. Copy of a roll call vote of Wednesday 14th December 2022 on the motion for impeachment of the Governor of Meru County. 6. Copy of a communication from the Chair issued during the County Assembly sitting held on Wednesday 14th December 2022. 7. Copy of a letter by Mtuma Gishuru and Associates Advocates, reference number CAM/MCAs/AM/MGA 2022, dated 13th December 2022, addressed to the Speaker of the County Assembly of Meru. 8. Copies of newspaper advertisements of Wednesday, 7th December 2022, and copies of invoices for radio advertisement calling for submission of memoranda on the notice of motion for the proposed removal from office of the Governor of Meru County. 9. A flash disk containing 20 video clips evidencing the particulars alleged in the motion, as well as voice advertisement on the public participation on the motion run on Muuga FM. 10. Copy of the report, minutes, and other supporting documents of a public hearing meeting for receipt of memoranda on the proposed removal from office of the Governor of Meru County, held on Tuesday, 13th December 2022. 11. Copies of written memoranda, both in support and against, from different sub-counties and regions submitted to the County Assembly during the public participation exercise on this motion. And lastly, booklet of the 3rd edition of the Meru County Assembly Standing Orders. Honorable Senators, in terms of Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33(3)(a) of the County Governments Act 2012 and Standing Order 81A of the Senate Standing Orders, the Speaker of the Senate is required within 7 days after receiving notice of resolution from the Speaker of a County Assembly to convene a meeting of the Senate to hear charges against the Governor. As I indicated in my earlier communication, the special sitting has been convened to hear charges on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable KAWIRA, the Governor of Meru County. Pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Government Act and Standing Order 81A of the Senate Standing Orders, I hereby proceed to read the charges against the Governor of Meru County as contained in the motion of impeachment by the County Assembly of Meru. Charge 1. Nepotism, illegal appointments, unlawful dismissals, and usurpation of the constitutional and statutory functions of county organs. The particulars of these allegations include: 1. Appointment of a husband to county offices. 2. Roadside appointment of county workers at Timau. 3. Roadside appointment of county workers at Nkubu. 4. Roadside appointment of county workers at Kianjai. 5. Establishment of an illegal committee for the Meru municipality. Senators, you may walk in, please. Charge 2. Incitement, bullying, vilification, and misleading campaigns against other leaders. The particulars of this allegation include: 1. Humiliation of the Meru County Assembly Minority Leader, vilification of the Meru County Assembly Minority Whip and other leaders. 3. Vilification of the Senator of Meru County. 4. Vilification of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. 5. Vilification of the Member of the National Assembly for Tigania East Constituency. And lastly, vilification of the Catholic Church and clergy. Charge number 3. Forceful entry into the County Assembly precincts and mobilization of unlawful riots against members of the County Assembly. The particulars of this allegation are that the Governor, 1. Forcibly entered the precincts of the County Assembly. 2. Falsely accused members of the County Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. 3. Organized a violent demonstration against the members of the County Assembly at the Assembly precincts. Number 4. Addressed a riotous crowd at the precincts of the County Assembly. Charge number 4. Violation of public finance management laws. The particulars of this allegation are that the governor, 1, directed the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital to spend all revenue at source. 2, issued purported waivers on fees at the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital. 3, directed county officers to participate in advancing the interest of GWITETera TV, a private media station. Charge number 5, misconduct relating to the nomination of CECs. The particulars of this allegation are that the governor, 1, vilified members of the county assembly for refusing to approve some nominees to the county executive committee. 2, falsely accused members of the county assembly of shortchanging Kirsty Misheni and other nominees for appointment to the CEC. 3, illegally instructed Kirsty Misheni to usurp the statutory functions of the Igoji Westward Retention Enhancement Fund Committee by identifying the persons that would benefit from the county bursary funds. 4, failed to submit names of other candidates to the county assembly for approval for appointment to the CEC. 5, reorganized her government to 6 departments and 3 CEC members after the rejection of some nominees instead of submitting names of other candidates to the county assembly for approval. 6, swore to appoint to her government and actively work with losers of the 2022 county elections instead of duly elected MCAs to star wrangles within the assembly. Honorable Senators, in terms of the way forward, following the reading of the charges against the governor, Standing Order 81B of the Senate Standing Orders, as read together with Section 33(3)B of the County Government Act, give the Senate 2 options on how to proceed with this matter. The Senate may, A, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter, or B, investigate the matter in plenary. As listed at order number 6 in today's order paper, the Senate Majority Leader will shortly give notice of motion for the establishment of a special committee, and the motion thereon is listed at order number 8. Should this motion be carried, the special committee will be required under Section 33(4) of the County Government Act and Standing Order 82 of the Senate to investigate the matter and to report to the Senate on whether it finds the particulars of allegations against the governor to have been substantiated. In the event that the motion for the establishment of the special committee does not pass, the fallback position is that the Senate shall proceed to investigate and conduct the matter in plenary. In this event, I will appoint the dates on which Senate will sit in plenary to hear and determine the charges against the governor. Honorable Senators, it is noteworthy, and I wish to emphasize to all honorable Senators, that when we come to the debate on the motion for establishment of a special committee, debate on the motion shall be limited to the substance of the motion, principally whether or not to establish the special committee. It will not be a debate on the substance of the impeachment or its merits, propriety, prudence, or even the constitutionality or legality of the process that have preceded the submission of this matter to the Senate. It is therefore not permissible to deviate to any matters other than the motion before the Senate. I also wish to inform honorable Senators to desist from publicly commenting on the merits or demerits of the impeachment motion before the Senate. Doing so will amount to anticipation of debate, which is an infringement of Standing Order 99. Therefore, it shall be out of order within the meaning of Standing Order 122 for any senator to make comments, whether written or spoken, in relation to the conduct of the governor or the impeachment process, which is outside the confines of the impeachment proceedings, as such comments may prejudice the just outcome of the process. Honorable Senators, this is the first impeachment hearing in the 13th Parliament. Such a hearing is one of the most crucial oversight tools and singular roles of the Senate. In undertaking this mandate, the Senate will be sitting as a quasi-judicial body and will conduct investigations into the alleged infractions of the Constitution and the law, and thereafter make its determination in this matter. I conclude by urging all honorable senators to exercise the highest level of responsibility on this matter. Honorable senators, I thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to give notice of the following motion. The establishment of a select committee to investigate and report the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable KAWIRA Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. Mr. Speaker, that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act on 14th of October 2022, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by way of impeachment Honorable KAWIRA Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, and further whereas by a letter reference number CAM RESVOL.V/2 dated 15th of December 2022, received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Thursday 15th December 2022, the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the removal of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(3) of the County Governments Act, Standing Order number 81B of the Senate by resolution may appoint a special committee comprising of 11 of its members to investigate the matter. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 33(3)B of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 81B, the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising of the following: Senator 1, Senator Boni Halwale; 2, Senator Jackson Mandago; 3, Senator Karungo Dhangwa; 4, Senator Esther Okenyuri; 5, Senator Roba Ali; 6, Senator Peris Tobiko; 7, Senator Eddie Gisheru; 8, Senator Joseph Kamau; 9, Senator Edwin Sifuna; 10, Senator Agnes Kavindu; 11, Senator Jones Mwaruma, to investigate the proposed removal from office of the Governor of Meru County, and pursuant to the Standing Order 82, to report to the Senate within 10 days of its appointment on whether or not in its findings the particulars of the allegations against the Governor have been substantiated. Thank you, Speaker. That whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on the 14th of December 2022, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable KAWIRA Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, and further whereas by a letter reference CAM RES Volume V2 dated 15th December 2022, received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Thursday the 15th of December 2022, the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly, and further forwarded the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(3)B of the County Governments Act, Standing Order number 81B of the Senate by resolution may appoint a special committee comprising of 11 of its members to investigate the matter. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 33(3)B of the County Governments Act, Standing Order number 81B, the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising of the following senators: Boni Halwale, Senator Jackson Mandago, Senator Karungo Dhangwa, Senator Esther Okenyuri, Senator Roba Ali, Senator Peris Tobiko, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Joseph Kamau, Senator Edwin Sifuna, Senator Agnes Kavindu, Senator Jones Maruma, to investigate the proposed removal from office of the Governor of Meru County and pursuant to Standing Order number 82, to report to the Senate within 10 days of its appointment on whether or not its findings to the particulars of the allegations against the Governor have been substantiated. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important exercise. The reason the Senate exists is to provide, or to rather to secure the interests of counties, their governments, and its people. This is one such time, Mr. Speaker, that you are being recalled as a House because there is a matter that has been brought before us by the people of Meru through their elected representatives, that's members of a county assembly. And as a House, we are being invited to listen to the dispute that exists between the county government, the executive, and the assembly, and the reasons that the members of county assembly have provided for impeaching their governor and requesting this House to agree with them and send the governor packing. We have two ways, Mr. Speaker, that we can reach an agreement or establish, because this House, as you have given in your communication, Mr. Speaker, now ceases being just a House of Parliament, but also takes up an extra duty of being a quasi-judicial gathering, where members of this House will listen and peruse through the evidence that is adduced before them, or by way of plenary, or by way of a special committee, such as what is being proposed before us, Mr. Speaker, and guide the entire House. Mr. Speaker, I am aware that over the years, and it's good to put matters into perspective so that maybe many of our colleagues
What is your point of order, Senator Omtata?
Yeah, my point of order is anchored on Article 181 of the Constitution, and I'm afraid we are just about to violate the Constitution of Kenya the way previous houses have been violating the Constitution of Kenya. Impeachment proceedings under the Constitution of Kenya is a preserve for the presidency. If you look at it, and even when you look at the impeachment of the president under Article 144 on grounds of medical grounds, and look at 145, it's not 145 that provides for impeachment. If you look at 181, clause 1D, how would you impeach a governor on the basis of physical or mental incapacity? So I think that Section 33 of the County Governments Act is an affront on the Constitution of Kenya. What was anticipated, and the Constitution cleverly uses the words removal and the words impeachment. And removal of the president is the only one where they qualify by saying by impeachment. All other removals, Mr. Speaker, sir, are through processes that include the tribunals. Just the other day, we saw the National Assembly consider a motion to remove commissioners of IBC. They went and there's a tribunal that has been formed. It's a full trial. It cannot, there's no provision in the Constitution of Kenya for putting a governor of any county of Kenya through a political trial. We should not violate the Constitution again. Article 33 needs to be looked at and expanded.
Senator Omtata, you may be raising your points of order not at the appropriate time.
I'm guided, Your Honor. You'll guide me when to raise them, please.
If you read at the fourth, the third schedule, the rules of procedure for the hearing and determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of a governor. And I'll take you straight all the way to Regulation 13 and 14. Such preliminary objections have their space within the procedure. And therefore, if indeed you are inclined to move the way you're moving, then there is a time when you can actually bring those preliminary points, and they'll be determined at that level. As we are now constituted, the leader of majority is moving the motion as to whether we are going the plenary way or the special committee way. After all that is settled, before the hearing, then such preliminary objections can be raised and be dealt with before the main hearing actually commences.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, it's interesting to have Senator Umtata here, because at some point he will have to draw a line, and this is with no ill will or malice actually, or bad intent on him, because he has carved a space for himself as a public interest litigant, but now he has another platform. You know, back then he didn't have a platform that he could perhaps raise some of these issues, but now you have a premium platform as a member of parliament. So somebody may say you have a double chance in life, that you can raise in court and on the floor of the house. I don't think many Kenyans have such privilege as you have, which is a good thing anyway, yeah, if you look at it that way. So, Mr. Speaker, I was mentioning that this House has handled impeachments of governors many times. This is not the first time. I think by my count this should be the 11th or 12th. I'm yet to get the right numbers. In the first Senate, the 11th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, we handled 6 impeachments. 5 of them were by committee. Only 1 was by plenary. Actually, that of the late Governor of Nyeri, then Honorable Nderitu Gachagua. But all the other 5 impeachment motions or proceedings that were brought to this House were handled actually by way of committee. The impeachment of Governor Martin Nyaga Wambora, both 1 and 2, for which our good colleague who's here, and that's part of the reason why we are proposing him to be part and parcel of a committee. Senator Boni Halwale was actually chair of both committees, so comes with historical experience. Of course, the impeachment proceedings against my governor then, Professor Chepkwony, was handled by committee. Same in the impeachment motion against Deputy Governor for Machakos, Bernard Kiala, handled by committee, and Governor Mwangi Waendria of Muranga. They were all handled. So 5 out of 6 were handled. In the 12th Parliament, which is last Parliament, Mr. Speaker, 5 matters were considered by the Senate. 2 of the matters, that of Honorable Granton Saboja and Ann Mumbi Waiguru, were handled actually by committee. The other 3, that of Mohammed Abdi, Ferdinand Ndungu Waititu, and the very famous one of Mike Gideon Mbuvi Sonko of Nairobi, were handled by plenary. Therefore, what's my point, Mr. Speaker? That either way, this House can proceed to guide, to consider an impeachment motion that has been brought before us. But you want to look at the circumstances, the timing, which one precedes the other. I do not hold in my mind that there is one method that is superior to the other. You'll find people that are saying, why can't we go the plenary way? Others that are saying, why can't we go the committee way? Out of personal experience, and I think I have lots of it, therefore I'm qualified to give a qualified opinion on this, Mr. Speaker, is that both ways are extremely effective. And whichever way that we have pursued it in the past, the Senate has returned the decision either way. There have been moments where we went to the committee and the motion was dropped, or even went to the committee and the charges were upheld, and vice versa when you go to the committee way. I want to propose to the members this afternoon listening to me that we go the committee route, Mr. Speaker, that we grant a committee 11 colleagues of ours who have been given an opportunity to go and listen and read and peruse the documents that have been produced before the Senate, and come and convince this House of whatever finding they will get. either to impeach or to drop the charges. As a House, we shall be gathered again and be granted equally the opportunity to read a further refined report from the 11 colleagues of ours, men and women that I consider to be fully competent. You know, Mr. Speaker, I love the fact that in this House, and if you read the language of a constitution, is that it looks at us as 67 senators. I do not for any reason entertain the thought that there are senators who are better than others. We have different giftings, abilities. Some have been here longer, some have been here. And if you look at the proposal that has come to the committee, or the proposed committee that has been laid before us, has a mix of both new members, ranking members, whichever, men, women, elected, specially elected by way of nomination, has all the shades and colors. But of course, as is the nature of human beings, many people will say, why not me? And I want to discourage our colleagues from having such a view to life. Because if we begin transacting the business of Parliament and saying that any time a motion perhaps comes before the House, if so-and-so is not included, if myself am not included, then maybe for that particular reason, I may not necessarily support, then we wouldn't be sending a very good precedence about it. So I want to convince the House, and I want to propose to you, colleague senators, that given that this has come during a Christmas break, many of you perhaps were home with your families, with your constituents, with your loved ones, that we give the due attention that can be the Senate, not to be intimidated, because impeachment is not a very easy procedure. People have their opinions. Others want to cast us into a particular painting and lighting. You know, I've seen so much go around. I believe, Mr. Speaker, and I say this with authority, that every time the Senate has gathered itself to consider an impeachment motion, we are guided by the evidence that is provided before us. So there is no need to run a campaign around all the issues that are being brought before us, Mr. Speaker. Oh, this is a particular agenda issue. Men, you're being biased and things like that. You know, I've seen all these things and I felt, Mr. Speaker, I'm not speaking about the substance of a motion, but I'm speaking about the placing of Senate and why it is important to respect us as an institution, such that when matters are brought before us, you allow us the latitude, because these are men and women of integrity. They have the wherewithal to know what is right and what is wrong for a country. There's no need to run campaigns around us. Especially, for example, I've seen men being taunted and being reminded. You know, I'm a big champion of women in leadership. And I like when the campaign is run right, but also don't run it in a way that you are castigating men for the wrong reasons. You know, I have followed and I see the debate. We are being told, oh, you know, perhaps this infamous guitar-loving husband, that if it was a spouse of a male governor doing the same things that he's doing, you guys will not have a problem. But I want to challenge them and ask them, please show me the spouse of a male governor who goes into altercation with the leaders of that particular county. You will not find any. You know, therefore, even as we convince the House and speak about the issues that are being brought before this particular, allow the Senate the space to carry out its duty without necessarily running any particular theories around us on what should guide us and what shouldn't. Let members make a decision either way, either to impeach or not to impeach. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues, without taking a lot of time, because I believe we'd wish to hear the opinion of our colleagues, but I plead with you that given the circumstances that we find ourselves in fact, I don't envy members that are going to serve in this committee, because the minute you take up responsibility, you forget about Christmas. You're actually going to spend your Christmas working here in Nairobi, perusing the documents, because immediately on the 27th, or even actually earlier than that, all the way to 24th, you shall be working, perhaps break only on the 25th, which is Sunday, and Monday, the 26th, on 27th, be back at work, so that you're able to conclude, because by 30th of December, this House must make a decision either way, with particular to this. Therefore, I don't even envy these colleagues of ours, because they have got to spend their Christmas working. But what to do, Mr. Speaker, because that is a reason, that's our reason for existence as a House, to protect the interest of our counties, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I want to plead with our colleagues that let us go this particular way, support the establishment of this special committee. There'll be opportunities in future, because there are people who've talked to me and have said, Majority Leader, grant me an opportunity. I also want to I want to carry out an investigation. Believe you me, given the way many of these governors are behaving, and I have observed governors for a while, therefore I know, we will have very many of them before this house. Perhaps even before February, we reconvene. There will be other customers to come and deal with impeachment issues in this house. You'll get the chance to serve in committees. You'll get the chance to serve in special sitting until you will be tired. So while I understand that this is the first one and many people are saying, oh, I wish I was a member, or let's go the plenary way, we will have opportunity either way. The statistics that I've given you have shown that the House actually distributes these things almost on equal measure between special committee and plenary. So we will have a taste of both. I want to request you, I undertake this as your majority leader, that if today we go the special committee way, and I plead with you that we go that way, then the next one, we will handle it by way of plenary, like that, until we have a taste of all these things. It's our duty, and we will be convinced. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, without many remarks, I beg to move and request Leader of Minority Senators, Retired Justice Stewart Mazayo, to second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, nataka kuunga mkono ndugu yangu alivyosema Aaron Cheriot akiwa kama kiongozi wa walio wengi, ya kwamba kuna njia panda, ya kwamba tuende kulinganishana na kamati ya bunge zima, ama sivyo tuweze kuchagua kamati ambao kwa maoni ambao tulikuwa tumeshaongea hapo awali mimi na yeye, ni kwamba njia ya kamati ndio itakuwa njia ambayo itakuwa ya muafaka sana, kwa sababu itaweza kupatia nafasi wale maseneta ambao tutakuwa tumechagua ni njia gani ama ni mwelekeo gani, na kuangalia zile karatasi zote ama stakabadhi zote ambazo zitakuwa zimeletwa kwa kusikiliza hii kesi. Bwana Spika, si njia rahisi ya kwamba mtu kama sasa ameletwa ndani ya bunge la Senate na haki yake ionekane kupotoshwa. Tunataka ya kwamba wale maseneta ambao tutakuwa tumechagua waketi katika kamati waweze kufanya kazi muafaka, kazi ambao wataangalia zile stakabadhi zote na wazikague, waone ni wapi ambapo watapitia na kutuambia hii ndio njia ya kisawasawa. Bwana Spika, vile vile tunaona ya kwamba tukiifanya yote iwe upande wote wa kamati ya bunge la Senate, itakuwa ni muda kidogo sana ambapo tunaweza kuchukua nafasi hiyo kwa sisi kukubaliana ama ripoti chambua yale mashtaka na yule atakavyokuwa amejitetea, ili kuweza kuja na mwelekeo fulani ambao utaweza kuangalia ni njia gani ambayo tutaweza kupitia. Bwana Spika, kwa hiyo kwa maoni yangu mimi naona ya kwamba njia ile ya kamati ndio njia ambayo itaweza kufafanua na itaweza kuona ya kwamba huyu gavana ni kweli alifanya yale yanayodaiwa ama hakufanya yale yanayodaiwa. Cha pili, tukiwa kama senators hapa, tuko na imani na ile kamati ambayo tutaichagua. Tunajua ya kwamba masenators wote walioko hapa ndani wanao uwezo wa kuketi katika hii kamati, lakini kuna sababu zake muhimu ndani ya sheria. Ni kwa sababu gani tunasema ya kwamba watu wakiwa kama 11 sio kama watu ambao wako 60 na. Kwa hiyo wale watu 11 wakiwa wanaweza kuketi na kila mtu akawa na wakati maalumu wa kuweza kupitia zile records, itakuwa bora zaidi kuliko sisi tukitumia kamati ya nyumba nzima ama kama committee of the whole house. Kwa hiyo mimi nasema tu ya kwamba tuko na imani, na mimi nataka kuona ya kwamba wale watu ambao tumechagua ambao wataweza kuketi katika kamati kama hii, tuko na imani nao na tuna imani ya kwamba wataweza kuwa na kutupatia mwelekeo wa kisawasawa. Bwana Spika, vile vile tunaona kwamba tumekuwa hapa ndani ya hili bunge na ni wakati sasa kuthibitisha ya kwamba Senate vile tunavyosema ndio nyumba kubwa ya bunge hili letu la Kenya. Kwa hiyo tuchukue nafasi hii kuona ya kwamba haki imetendeka kwa wale wanaoweza kushtaki, na yule mshtakiwa mwenyewe pia apewe nafasi nzuri ya kuweza kuangalia stakabadhi zake atakazojitetea, ili tuweze kuona uhaki uko pande gani. Kwa maoni yangu mimi naona vile ningeweza kusisitiza senators wenzangu tuende njia ya kamati, kwa sababu hiyo ndio njia ambayo itaweza kutupatia uamuzi wa kikamili. Asante Bwana Spika.
Honorable Senators, I now wish to propose the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section 33 of the County Governments Act, on 14th December 2022, the Meru County Assembly approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable KAWIRA, the Governor of Meru County. And further, whereas by a letter reference number CAM/Res/Volume V/2, dated 15th December 2022, received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Thursday, 15th December 2022, the Speaker of the Meru County Assembly informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion that forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 81(b) of the Senate by resolution may appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 33(b), 1. Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale, 2. Senator Jackson Mandago, 3. Senator Karungo Thagwa, 4. Senator Esther Okenyuri, 5. Senator Roba Ali Ibs, Senator Peris Tobiko, 7. Senator Eddie Gisheru Okech, 8. Senator Joseph Kithuku Kamau, 9. Senator Edwin Sifuna, 10. Senator Agnes Kavindu Muthama, and lastly, Senator. It finds the particulars of the allegations against the Governor to have been substantiated. Senator Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to oppose this motion simply because the matter that is at hand has got many dynamics. And having a look at the committee that has been put together, I don't think that the dynamics will be met with that committee. First of all, the impeachment motion of this particular governor touches on a lot of gender issues. And when you look at the committee, a committee of 11 people who are going to actually impeach or not impeach a woman governor, we only have 3 women. So even if we are pushing for the 2/3 gender rule, because of the fact that the issues that are being raised on this particular debate are gender sensitive, I think it was a bit unfair that that committee did not actually put into perspective that perhaps they should have had more women into that committee. Another reason that I do not support the motion is that the matters that have been raised in the public domain, this particular governor has actually already been persecuted by the public. The issues have been discussed in public, everything has been put out in public, and in order for us as a Senate that actually understands the sensitivity of the matter, we then must actually provide a platform where we must publicly execute and debate matters and be able, as a Senate, to say that we have given a fair hearing and a fair platform. Another thing is that the divergent views that are actually brought to the House by the plenary way of impeachment will not be exercised under the committee. And I feel as though perhaps the reason I am not supporting this motion is that even when you read the order paper, it says that the Senate has resolved. For us, we were coming hoping that we are going to perhaps have a kamkunji before this, or perhaps have some sort of collaboration. Mr. Speaker, nothing of the sort has been done. Nobody has actually, and I hate to be in this position because I support my party, but I'm also a woman, and I'm pushing for the two-third gender rule. And I'm pushing that out of the very few, a handful of the governors that have gotten elected, I know if there is a case for impeachment, it should have fair hearing. When you look at the committee, Mr. Speaker, you have 2 former governors sitting in the committee. This is an issue about impeaching a governor. And then you have 2 former governors sitting in that committee. I have to raise my eyebrow and ask myself, is it going to be fair hearing? Because there's already a conflict of interest there to have 2 former governors sitting and saying they are going to give fair hearing. And finally, Mr. Speaker,
what is your point of order, Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, resume your seat.
Senator Gloria, kindly take your seat.
You know, Mr. Speaker, we have, when you're debating, you cannot impute improper motive on your colleagues without a substantive motion. I want Senator Gloria, because she's now imputing improper motive on first me as Majority Leader, secondly, as SPC, that by including colleagues, you know, there are former fishermen here, there are former touts, there are former herders, there are former governors. Please let her show me which standing order says a former governor should not serve in any particular committee of this particular house. But that is a less substantial matter. What I want her to tell me, I'm on a point of order, my neighbor. Allow me to make my point. Listen, Mr. Speaker, the thing I want Gloria to explain to me is how Senator Gloria, sorry, my apologies. The thing I want Senator Gloria to explain, Mr. Speaker, because otherwise she will be imputing improper motive on me, is how, by having these two senators, because she has picked on 2 particular senators in this particular committee, points that there is a general direction in which how this committee is supposed to conduct its work. Mr. Speaker, until that is properly explained to me, then it will have been left on the handset of this House that at one particular time when I moved a motion already with a predetermined position. I do not take that kindly, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Gloria, indeed, to that extent, you are out of order, and you may proceed to abandon that line of argument or contribution.
Mr. Speaker, I retract my comment that 2 governors will be, former governors will be sitting in the proposed committee. I retract the comment, although the 2 former governors will be sitting. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say that...
what is your point of order, Senator Wambua? Senator Gloria, please take a seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I really hate to disrupt the flow of our thoughts. But Mr. Speaker, she has raised an issue, and because this is a House of Record, and every senator is responsible for the accuracy of the statements that they make on the floor. For clarity, Mr. Speaker, both the plenary way and the committee way are public engagements. A wrong impression should not be created here, Mr. Speaker, that if you go the plenary way, it's going to be a sitting in camera. It is a public engagement as much as a plenary way would be a public engagement. The Speaker, for accuracy and for purposes of record, that is important to note.
Proceed, Senator Gloria. I hope you've been fully informed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I've been fully informed. Mr. Speaker, allow me to also gender, which is the female gender.
Agenda. I would want to understand where Senator Gloria is getting this impression that somehow the question of the impeachment of the governor of Meru has anything to do with her gender. I think, Mr. Speaker, perhaps for her benefit, you could repeat the charges against her, because I did not hear anything touching on her gender when you read the charges, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Senator Gloria, I know how passionate you are on gender issues, but please do not bring it up when it's not.
Mr. Speaker, I have said.
Senator Gloria, can you proceed and
Mr.
conclude
Speaker, I have said that the matters that are arising in this case are gender sensitive. Gender sensitive. And Mr. Speaker, I honestly would like to invite the House to come for capacity building when it comes to gender mainstreaming. When I say gender sensitive, it means that the issues might appear black and white to the male senators, while in perspective and in a court of law and in an investigative institution or a committee, you can already see that there are senators who might not be able to catch the gender sensitivity of the matter. So my issue is, if indeed we are pushing to go the committee way, which I do not support, because I think that it already disadvantages the subject matter who has already been publicly persecuted by the other gender. And I think we should really try to ask ourselves, we only have 5 elected governors. And out of these elected governors who are women, we are actually putting together an 11-member committee that is constituted of only 3 senators. Can we at least then get a 50-50 of that committee? And if not, can we at least find a way to ensure that the gender-sensitive matters that keep reappearing on this impeachment, because, Mr. Speaker, I know I'm guided, I'm not supposed to talk on the issues, but there are gender-sensitive matters, including the issue of the office of the first husband. That is a gender-sensitive matter. And we have to have a committee which we, as other senators, actually believe and trust that they will execute these matters with that awareness of the gender sensitivity, because we know that it is a fact that it is the first time we're even experiencing the office of a first husband in this public nature, and most of the issues that are being brought up are actually attached to the gender matter. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say this. It is improper, and perhaps I would say morally improper, that a select few members come together and put together an 11-member committee without holding a kamkunji of any sort, without actually trying to talk to the senators and say, this is the weight of the matter, get divergent views. And Mr. Speaker, we come to the floor of the House, we are thinking we are coming to execute our duties, and we are being told under the order paper that the Senate has already resolved to put an 11-member committee. So I oppose this motion. And I want to urge my fellow women senators, because there's a saying that says, first they come for the Jews, and then they come for who. By the time they come for you, there's no one to fight for you. So I want to urge, including those senators who are women, who have been the 3 senators who have been put in the committee. This is a matter that is bigger than you, and I want to ask you people to come together to ensure that Governor KAWIRA has got a fair and equal platform where we can actually listen and be able to execute our duties as senators of this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ledama.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion on the following reasons. One, I empathize with my colleague who just left, Senator Gloria. And Senator Gloria, let me go on record as a person who respects women, because all my life I've worked so hard to respect women. The issue today is something which is very emotive, and I know where you're coming from. But what the Speaker has proposed is for us to consider whether we go the committee way or we go the plenary way. Mr. Speaker, listening to your communication.
Okay, please take your seat. Senator Ledama, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me reiterate again, and I hope that I can be protected from Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator? What is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, point of order is a right, it's not a privilege. Standing order number 91. Stop shouting. You are not in Maasai market. Stop looking down at people.
Kindly.
No. Don't stop shouting at me. You are not in a market. Point
Senator
of order,
Chirenge.
Mr. Speaker. Standing order number
You are
91.
out of order, Senator Chirenge. You have the floor. Address the chair.
Mr. Speaker, point of order on 101, contents of the speech and standing order number 1. The Senator of Narok, my good friend, who happens to be the Deputy Minority Leader, should stop engaging a member directly. He should stop, Mr. Speaker. Instead of talking to Gloria directly, he should address Gloria through the chair. And that is what I'm just saying. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not a protest, my brother. Easy maandamano. Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is that he should engage Senator Gloria through the seat, Mr. Speaker, through your chairmanship. Not assenting, Mr. Speaker. And we need protection. If there are people who want to do maandamano, they can go to Kamukunji. This is a house of rules and regulations. He should just address Senator Gloria through the chair, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, he's out of order.
Very well, Senator Chirenge. Senator Ledama, kindly proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I know people are excited to go on holiday, but being cantankerous should not be one of the excitements. Mr. Speaker, earlier on I indicated clearly that I support this motion because this will not be my first impeachment proceeding, or rather removal proceeding, that I participate in. I've sat here and I know the reasons why I was among the people who proposed that we go the committee way. Mr. Speaker, I sat on this very chair when we were removing Governor Mike Sonko. And my colleague, who was sitting on the right, the majority leader, said to me, this is a political process. This is not a legal matter. On that day, I was naive. I sat there and I was following the arguments which were being made by the legal counsels for both parties. But ultimately, when it came to the point of us voting, I was not given an opportunity. Our standing orders do not give us an opportunity to now contribute and say, this is the reason why I will vote to impeach Mike Sonko, or these are the reason why I will not vote to impeach Mike Sonko. Mr. Speaker, it was simple. Come and vote. Article 123 of the Constitution. And this is to inform my dear sister, the nominated senator, what's her name? Senator Gloria, that ultimately, when it comes down to voting, only head of delegations are the ones who will vote. Elected senators. That is by the Constitution, that is not by Ledama or Lekena. So it doesn't matter whether the matter is so emotive. In fact, what will even give the governor an opportunity for a fair committee sits, looks at the issues, the evidence, go through. Mr. Speaker, when I sat here, even if I had my pen and paper and I can read very fast, I never got an opportunity to examine the evidence which was being presented for the removal
Honorable
of the former
senators, can you consult in law
So,
terms?
Mr. Speaker, like I said, I know this is an emotive issue. But for the first time, let us be seen as having given justice an opportunity. I particularly say that I would never participate, although it is my duty, I would never participate in a plenary session to remove a governor. Because what we do, we sit here, you know, the two parties argue their matters, they bring matters of law. We are not a court of law, we are quasi-judicial process. In fact, it is purely political. It has got nothing to do with law. We know very well when I listen to the charges you brought that have been read out, Mr. Speaker. You know, I will read Article 207 of the Constitution. I will read Section 109 of the PFM Act. But seriously, sitting down here as a senator, will I get an opportunity now to say, give me the evidence? Let me go through the evidence, the receipt that the governor authorized the spending of money at source. Those are accusations. Mr. Speaker, I think it is important for our colleagues to remember that this Senate does not impeach a governor. The impeachment happens in the county assembly. The county assembly are the ones who impeach the governor. Our job here is very simple. As per Article 181 of the Constitution, is to go through the law that was set up by this Parliament, which is the County Governments Act, to go through the process of removal. In fact, it will come to a point whether we're looking at it. We're not going to be looking at it whether this is a man or a woman, or whether the members of the committee were former governors. I dare say that the two distinguished senators who are former governors are really well thought out, very intelligent leaders who can be able to guide this process. So, Mr. Speaker, as emotive as the matter might be, let us remember one thing, that we can today decide, let's change that committee, and we put all nominated women as senators. But when it comes to voting, will they vote? And the fact is, they will not vote. Mr. Speaker, we talked about the issue of men versus women. Those are very emotive issues. But when it comes to a process which is clearly defined by the Constitution, the only people who will vote are the leaders of the delegation. And by design, or rather by the way things are in this country, unfortunately, most of the people who are elected as senators are men. It is a very sad situation, but is that something now that we have to go back to the voters and tell them that make sure that tomorrow when there's a woman who wants to become a senator, elect her. We are talking about this issue of two-thirds gender. But really, should it be a big argument when we are discussing issues of whether to allow 11 of our colleagues? You know, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader, when he sits here, is a very intelligent gentleman. He's not a member of that committee. He chose other members of his party who he thought that would be able to ensure that they give justice to this lady. The minority leader also chose members on this side without looking at the gender. The only thing that we emphasize on was that you are removing a governor. When you are removing a governor, you as an elected senator traverse the entire county to seek for vote. That governor traversed the entire county. If you come and remove that governor and ultimately you don't even have a vote to determine whether she goes home or not, what will it help? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to beseech my colleagues here that let us not trivialize this matter. Let us not bring the issue of two-thirds gender rule to determine how we are going to defend devolution. You know, it is quite sad, Mr. Speaker, that we are sitting in this house today on a special sitting, barely 3 months since the Honorable Governor took office. These are very down in a committee, go through all the evidence, and then when you come here, because ultimately it will come back to plenary. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to plenary, I want to hear whoever is going to be elected as the chairperson of that committee convincing me whether I should vote to send that governor home or to retain her. My job is really not to impeach a governor. What do you call it? Huh? You know, there's a word, they use it